And so I'm back. Back in Torment.
Alright.
With the clock thingy I haven't got to work yet, and these three things were activated, so I'm assuming I have to do something with these to activate the clock. As you approach this device, Circus Minor changes around you. People are dressed differently and speaking differently. Whole new structures appear, including an enormous building rising from the edge of the square. You look down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. I'm gonna look at the changes around me. Circus Minor looks almost completely different. All the people are dressed strangely, and though they speak the truth, they use as many terms and phrases that you don't understand. The square has changed as well. All of the tents are gone. The buildings are more colorful and less weathered. One building in particular rises from the edge of the square, a tower of purple rock some 50 stories high. A mural is painted on the side, though you can't see the details from here. Let's examine the images on the screen. Not the changes around. As soon as you focus on them, you feel a warmth on your head where your tattoo is. The images respond to your thoughts, slowing and changing at your whim. That little octopus thing is getting really annoying, going in my ear. Stop it. It's something about your body that allows you to do this, which perhaps means that only you can even see the images. You immediately recognize the pictures as pieces of memory, specifically the 3 memories you saw back in the fathoms of your mind. Memory underwater. The memory is recent. 2 men, both with tattoos like your own, are in an underwater city searching for something. The denizens of the city chase them from their quarry and ultimately surround and capture them. As you review the memory, you get a strange feeling in your mind that you can only describe as query. The device wants something from you. Suddenly, you remember. The memories in the device are possibilities, but you can lock one of the memories here, so it is the only one that displays. You don't remember what purpose that served, though. Let's look at all the memories first. Somehow you know the memories from a long time ago, centuries ago probably. A man and a woman, both with tattoos like your own, are surveying a lush, secluded valley for some purpose you cannot recall. And city under siege. Somehow you know this memory is ancient, as it might have occurred 1,000 years ago. A man and a young girl race through the streets of Saga's cliffs. All around them, the city is attacked by terrible people. The Debat, you recall. The man takes them to an ancient machine somewhere in the city, and he and the girl disappear. I'm gonna do the centuries-old memory, I think. I'll go walk away from that one. Go over here. It looks like I'm gonna have to lock them in a certain order here. As you approach this device, Circus Minor is thrown into chaos. Buildings are on fire, like a siege. People are screaming and running for their lives, while armored soldiers hunt them. None of them seem to pay any attention to you, though. It's some kind of vision, not reality. You glance down at the device. A series of images flit across its surface. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar. That looks... I'm thinking that sounds like a besieged city, so I'm gonna lock it there.
Alright.
I don't know if that was a good or bad flash. I think that was just me coming back to reality. A strange feeling comes over you as you approach this device, as if someone were sneaking up on you in the corner of your eye. When you look, there's no one there. It feels like something is different, though, but you can't put your finger on what. A series of images flit across the surface of the device itself. They don't appear related to the changes around you. You see faces of other people and places, all of them familiar, blah, blah, blah. Underwater City had people being chased, and that's also the only one they haven't locked in, so we'll try that. Images of the 2 men in Underwater City are now the only images that play on the surface of this device. They search for something, are chased, and then are captured, over and over again in an endless loop. I did something right. As soon as you lock this 3rd image, a final surge of energy arcs through the air from the device to the clock itself. The clock shines for a moment, then becomes solid, fixed into a single state. At the same time, the device in front of you goes dark. The images disappear, as does the strange view of the city's past. So, I did it. I turned it on.
I'll remember that. I'm going.
I'm gonna touch it first before I talk to these people. I'm gonna give it a go and see just what this thing. The machine is solid now. Each of the 3 clock faces show a single time, though none of them point to any time measurement that you understand. You lean closer to the central clock face. 3 shadowy figures still lurk within, their features almost discernible now. Suddenly, the figures surge out of the clock towards you. Intense pressure strikes your head like a steel spike, then everything goes black. I should have talked to them first. Yeah. Yep. Oh. Hey.
Of course.
This place is a circle. Or
All right.
just wonderful is what this place is. Let's talk to these people. The 3 figures before you are disoriented. They don't even seem to notice you at first. All 3 of them have tattoos like yours. Cast-offs. Siblings. Kamos. Wapafellas. The woman is dressed in a powerful-looking armor. Her face bears several scars, yet her eyes have the innocence of a child. Did he do something? Are we still in the clock? Deviatiku... Divi. I do not believe so. The second figure is tall, dressed all in black. Its height is exaggerated further by a violet fish-like crest on the top of its head. Its large yellow eyes are squinted, scanning all around. There was a man outside the clock, but it wasn't... It was him, villain. The third figure points at me. At you. It is at me. He is small, wiry, and tense, as though he expects danger. He carries a shield on his back. He's a cast-off, he says. Looking at your tattoo. Can't say I recognize him, though. Thinking... Asking who they are. Even though I think they're the betrayers. 3 betrayers that were talked about. At some point. I don't remember who. Kamos, the woman steps forward. We beg your forgiveness, friend, brother. We have been through quite the trial. I am Kamos. These are my friends. DV and Villain. We are cast-offs, like you. She looks you up and down, her brow slightly furrowed despite her kind demeanor. We were ingested into your head. I saw it. How is that possible? He eyes you suspiciously. Who are you? You know, I have no idea. I'm a cast-off, like you. He raises one eyebrow significantly higher than the other. I've met scores of cast-offs, yet you are new to my eyes and ears. How can that be? Devi is the youngest cast-off I am aware of. Have you remained hidden since your birth? Villain, I think we might have been trapped in that clock for centuries, Kamos. Something about it messed with our perception. Vargelin looks up at the ceiling, or where the ceiling would be if there were one. Time is an illusion. How long? The wrong question. It turns its enormous bulbous eyes to you. What is this place? Where are we? I think you're in my mind, because this reminds me of the place earlier. Vargelin shuts its eyes, 6 nostrils open wide as it inhales deeply. Yes, perhaps you are right. Evie, our consciousnesses... Yeah, that's right. We're ripped from our consciousness... I'm going to trip over that word forever. Moving on. We're ripped from our bodies when the changing god activated his clock. Then, when you appeared, it happened again. Our minds ripped from their chronal prison. It looks to its friends. I cannot be certain, but I believe this is part of some vast mental construct. He turns to you. Your mental construct. It is vast. And very smart, too. My mental construct. Villain. His eyes become nearly as large as the Varhelin's. What? You mean we went from one prison to another? He grips you by the shoulders. You did this! If this is your mind, then let us out! I have no idea how to get out of here. Relax, friend, brother. Whether for days or centuries we survive that clock, we will survive this. If time is an illusion, then it is not our enemy. We will find a way, says Kamos. Why did the changing god trap you in the clock? I think it's because they're the betrayers, but... yes, she looks down, embarrassed. 3 of us once worked alongside our sire, helping him with his research after he'd brought the Order of Truth to Sagas Cliffs. We saw him for what he was. Selfish. Arrogant. He doesn't care about us, not a single one of his children. He crosses his arms and looks away bitterly. All of his projects were always about him. He didn't care if anyone got hurt in the process. Evie, we betrayed him. Unlike the others, the Varhellen looks you directly in the eye. We meant to stun him, to capture him before he could escape to another body, but he was too quick for us. He activated the clock, tearing our minds from our bodies and trapping us eternally. That's not good. I don't see any way out. The Varhellen stretches his neck, putting its face within a handspan of yours. It seems to be examining you. Then it says, "Your mind. Only you have the power to change." I mean, cool. Kamos, what he's trying to say is that this place was created for your body, or perhaps by your body. Our sire placed within each of us unique gifts and abilities. For example, I have never heard tell of another cast-off who could trap consciousnesses the way that you have. He gives you a warm smile. He would not have created this space for you without also giving you a means by which to move through it. Think, what other gifts did our creator bestow upon you? Well, I am a jack of all trades. So am I, kid, and yet we're both still stuck here. Touché, villain. You see, that's just the type of thing that you do. It was a path you chose, not something our sire gave you, nor a means to freedom. I chose an aspect of myself when I was born. DV shakes his head. I can see what you speak of, it says, and you get a momentary impression that his eyes can see through you. This aspect describes you. Just as I am Varhellen, Velan is observant, and Kamos is foolish. I object to that characterization. Yeah, Velan gives a chuckle. He's not wrong, and you know it. At her wounded look, he raises his hand placatingly. It's the truth. Anyway, you've gotten us out of twice as much trouble as you get us into. Fair enough. The Varhellen speaks to you. These aspects are descriptors of who we are, but they are not us. That you chose your aspect says quite a lot, but I do not believe that this is enough to set us free. I did build a path out of the fathom of my mind by recovering memories I had lost. That sounds about like what I'm going to have to do, to a degree. Perhaps, if there were any memories here to recover. He curls his lips and looks around. Maybe I just don't know what memories look like, but I don't see anything. It would seem we are in agreement, villain. I don't think I have the ability. You must! She looks at her compatriots and back to you. We each have our gifts, given to us by our sire for a specific purpose. His purpose, of course, but a purpose nonetheless. He presses a hand to her chest. They say, for example, that, foolish though I may be, I have 9 magical gifts of speech. That is not something I chose nor learned, but it is who he made me to be. Villain, he rubs his hand along the edge of his shield. I am a master of defensive arts. Our sire learned them when he was in my body. Probably built my body to excel at it. I wouldn't call it a gift, but it's me, yeah. He's like, it's me, but yeah. Seems like he's always paranoid because he knows he's the one who has to defend them. Or get them out of their shitty situations. DV, I am one with the shadows. I live in them. I breathe them. This is not some sorcery I discovered, but a unique ability our sire chose for me while he was in my body. She gives you a kind smile. Gift is in you. Perhaps you have just forgotten. Our sire wouldn't have made this place for you without granting you the power to get out. Focus. Find the answer inside yourself. I will focus and find the answer inside myself, closing my eyes and meditating. You rifle through your memories, past everything you actually remember to those memories you didn't create yourself. There must be a key or a door, anything that would help you escape this fathom of your mind. Just as you're about to give up, you find something. A cluster of sparks, nascent abilities deep within the core of your being. You sense the abilities to speak eloquently, to use a shield with a master skill, to lurk among the shadows as though they were home.
I'm ready to learn something new.
I leveled up. Cool. None of these seem particularly suited to creating a path out of this place, but as you sift through them, you know that you are trapped here. Not because it is some puzzle your sire left for you to solve, but because you are not yet whole. This is another part, the last part, of deciding who you are. In completing yourself, you will be able to open a path back to the calm of your mind. Oh, I get to, look at things. Ooh. So I can either be very charismatic, +1 effort. Max effort +1 on persuasion, deception, intimidation tasks. Ends turn immediately whenever your attack misses you. Make a basic attack against the enemy if it's in range. Not really going to be a shield person. Although the +5 on deception, +5% on perception, and +5% on quick fingers sounds like it's right up my alley. Seeing as I have the perception or the deception skill already, and the perception one, I think. I honestly don't remember now. And quick fingers are kind of my thing. Huh. Not gonna lie, I kind of feel like I want to just have natural charisma. So I can persuade, deceive, and intimidate my way through things without actually having to fight. Which leads to a lot of reading and not a lot of fighting, and that's okay. But I think I'm gonna go with brandishes the silver tongue. I will take after the fool. And I have made myself slightly more whole, apparently. That's it, you did it, says Kamos. Does this mean we can go back to the real world? I doubt it, villain. I don't think so, villain, but it does mean we are free, finally. He turns to you. Thank you, friend. Go, we will follow.
I'm ready.
Alright. You guys aren't following. You guys hello thing. Shall we fight? Nor not. It appears I will not be fighting that creature today. Hopefully the other three will just take it out. One's good with the shield, other one breathes shadows, and the one could just talk their way out. Not that that thing said anything, so never mind. See how that goes. Good luck. Quest updated. Fallen to Earth. I saw what happened. Are you alright? That thing almost killed you. What did happen? It blasted you out of that part of your mind. I remember that much. His voice is somber. The sorrow must be gathering its strength, taking spaces in your mind to keep you from reaching your full potential. I don't know why it doesn't just destroy you. Maybe the fragments aren't strong enough. Yet. It's alright though. We have more important things to do, right? Like get that chamber fixed. Are you always here? He shrugs. Where else would I be? I found the resonance chamber, but it's broken. Yeah, I saw that. I don't see everything you do out there in the world, but I definitely saw that. You have to find a way to fix it. No shit. With the chamber broken, I'm not sure. We need to find someone who can fix it. That chamber's our only hope. Without it... Okay. How did activating the clock in the real world? Who knows? It probably triggered something in your mind. Made a bridge that you didn't have before. Maybe you did have the bridge once, but you lost it. How do I get it back this time? The portal's still there. I don't see why it wouldn't work twice. Fair. If this is my mind, why don't I remember this place? Is there anything to do while I'm here? You mean apart from the cabaret acts, distilleries, and endless adventure just behind the next wrinkle in your mind? He jabs you in the arm with his elbow. Ha! And if you believe that... Sorry, but it's your mind. There's nothing like that here. I've looked. Man, this poor guy, he must be bored out of my mind. The Spectre. Still, you've changed things plenty already. I wouldn't be surprised if something showed up here eventually. Has anything changed since last time I was here? He shrugs. Look around. It's your mind. Okay. Thanks. Could just give me the answer. Be like, yeah, there's something that did change. You should go take a look at it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
Let me look at this. The portal has collapsed into this tiny pulsing sphere. Something about it strikes you as angry, though you'd be hard-pressed to say why.
Ready.
Well, let's go explore my mind. Oh.
Yes. Now.
Sorrow shattered the mirror leading back to the dark fathom. Glass shards hiss when you touch them.
Fine.
Not gonna touch them then. It appears, nope, nothing new has appeared. You could have just said that, dude. Been like, nope, nothing new.
Yes.
Just go through that portal. And back through the portal I go. I can finally talk to those guys. Since I'm sure they can lead me somewhere. Help me out, maybe. Go ahead and talk. Casmine, you fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimian. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Mimian. Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. He turns to you. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. He bows gravely to you. You are most welcome here. And we do have answers for your questions, revered one. That is, as soon as we hear the report of what you have found. Tell us, she is nearly breathless with excitement. I just met those people. Lie and be like, shadowy figures pulled me in. I was in a labyrinth. I did not see their faces or learn their names. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, because that amuses me. Disappointment creases her face. Oh. You could not learn their names, nor save them? This is a disaster. He sighs. Nevertheless, we will honor our arrangement. You sought answers about who might repair the resonance chamber. That was kind of disappointing. I should have just told him. We know what your sire built. Built it with the aid of another cast-off, still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him or her. I know of only one other cast-off still in the city, the albino assassin Metkina. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. The last I heard of her, she was in the underbelly. He restrains a shudder. Seek her, but be wary.
Making a note.
I suppose that's what I'm doing. They have anything more to say? You have any supplies you can share with me? Oh. Sleeping. I wonder if I can sleep here. Can you tell me the beliefs of your church? Yeah, have any supplies? Share? Oh dear. We are a small group and not wealthy. We exist on donations. Curios and the occasional great gift from one of your siblings. For instance, we had a weapon once used by the Chalcedon. The Chalcedon! The commander of... She scratches herself. My point is that we require some payment for our wares. I mean, fair enough. I would... What is that? +1 training level and deception skill. +2 damage on Isottery attacks. Negative effects. -3 resistance. I don't know what that is, but I kind of want it. But I am very poor, and therefore will not... Thanks for showing up thing. I told not to show up anymore. So, back I go.
Of course.
Can I sleep there? That'd be kind of... You know, I don't need... Yeah. Can I sleep here? We would be honored if you chose to stay with us. We do request a small donation of 40 shins to offset our costs. He shrugs. We must rely on donations, even from our revered visitors. Well, never mind then, because I don't have that much money. Ooh, who are you? Philethus. A creature floats before you, hidden inside the bulk of its armor, cloth robes, unmoving and unmoved by your presence. Exactly who or what the thing is, man or machine, mutant or monster, is impossible to discern. Its glass face reveals nothing but your reflection. Its mechanical voice reveals nothing at all. You recall that this creature is known as Philethus, but you don't know anything else about them. Exquisite, the Philethus grates in greeting perhaps, or perhaps lost in its own inscrutable thoughts. Thank you for the compliment. The glass does not create, though it bends. Okay, for a moment that stretches uncomfortably. You feel the cold scrutiny of the Philethus upon you. At last it speaks again. The sun cannot warm the vastness between the worlds. The Philethus' implacable gaze bores through your skin and sees more than others do, and it seems to be seeking something from you. Tell me about yourself, man. Huh? Oh, boy. Never mind. Not very persuasive at the moment. Silence lingers long until at last the Philith speaks. I know it shall be the 3. I know the first cannot be trusted. I know one changes as you change. I know they seek an undoing. Its glass face storms, but the Philethus says no more. The one cannot be trusted. The first cannot be trusted. And then, almost like foretelling. Well, what do you want from me? The Philethus ponders silently until at last it asks, when you faced Quor, why did you not step first with your left foot? I had no reason. The Philethus accepts your answer in silence, then after a long pause replies, in this vault the Cloven One reads from his great book to his disciples. He sleeps and awakens, and has forgotten his place in the grimoire. He begins anew. The book is a part of him. He has no legs and takes no steps. It is his own self from which he reads. It is his own self that is incomplete. It is his own self that binds him in the vault of his own mind. Red Tide raised a tiny amount. You've been following me. In memory, cause follows effect. In rain, the colors run. A long rumble suggests that the Philethus has more to say, but nothing emerges. What more do you want? When the Philethus at last answers, its mechanical voice seems to creak. You did not accept your fall. When you are served the bitter root, will you eat? I don't know. Philethus is silent, showing you neither satisfaction nor dismay at your response. Why are you so interested in my choices? In a slow rumble, the Philethus replies, they are not yours. Great. Thanks. You have any more questions for me? In words so rushed that they almost jumble together, the Philethus asks, when you stood in the place of the shifting floors, which way did your shadow fall? Shoot. I don't think it did, honestly. A long rumble echoes from the inside the Philethus robe, changing at last to words. In the village of ToN it is written, the eremite Allegizer descended deep into the darkness, for he could not bear to see his shadow. What do your questions mean? What do you want? Yes. A single flat word lingers in the air until the Philethus adds, what is the answer? Perhaps the thing you want to answer... The thing wants you to answer your own question. You want to know everything. The Philethus accepts your answer silently, giving no clue as to what passes within the impervious robes, behind its impenetrable mask. At last the thing replies, all is as one, but one is not as the rest. You still have more questions, man? No. Farewell. I will persuade you to tell me about you when I have more of those points. As you step away, the Philethus swivels to keep his glass face trained upon you, because...
Fine.
I was not able to do it very well with my 1 point.
Ready.
Ooh, who are you? The Genocide. That is a cool name. The Genocide. This burly armor-clad figure stands almost motionless as you approach. He regards you silently through his singular eye. The studs on his arms and the blades on his shoulders are stained and pitted with age. When he speaks, his voice is muffled and artificial, a hollow grumble that emanates from the entirety of the helmet. I am the Genocide. If you ask, I must answer. Pass on, then, and exchange no words. If I ask, he must answer. What are you? The Genocide. I am a blade that cannot cut, a weapon that cannot strike, a living monument to failure. He shifts his weight. You hear the frown in his voice. I was Augusti Tel Kotu, the firm hand of tradition. They called me one of the Black Three. Enemies did not understand us. They took my name to mean death in a dozen extinct languages. Extinct tongues. Same thing. Called me Orphan Maker, Hope Smasher, Death's Child. My armies blackened the earth and the skies. My Dragolists scoured the land. Domination was my duty. If they had known, if they had welcomed us, they might have been our thralls. Instead, they became dust. He gestures. All this, it was to have been mine in the stewardship for the future of my people. It was promised, but now, his arms falls back to its size. Now I am the genocide, a relict, the last of my kind. You said you were the last of your kind? Why? I know of no others. Kalgot and Anvor, he who shares truth and understanding, is dead. Vastule Lo, the blinding light of reason, was destroyed. The underspine has fallen. My people are destroyed utterly, and our servant God speaks to us no longer. The clean lines of order and the glory of battle have forsaken us. He pauses. The rest are dust. We rose against a superior foe and were outmatched. Only I remain to tell the story of the Tabat. Oh, the Tabat! That was brought up earlier by one of those memory things I had to lock in. The city under siege. I think. That was supposed to be like centuries old memory. Did you have the answer if asked? Why? From within the helmet you hear a grinding noise, the sound of teeth gnashing amplified. Then the voice again, bleak. We sat at the river's edge and we wept for the time that was. We saw nothing more to conquer, and yet our fears still drove us. We had conquered the land, purged its impurities, made it ours. Still we wanted more. When we heard that humans had come to carve a home, we rejoiced to have a new foe, a new test of our truth. We rode against them. The genocide. We drove them to the forge of the night sky, to the valley of Emerard Jolios, to the dangers of the Black Rage. But those who built atop these ruins, they thwarted us, time and again, and so we brought our constructs and our deadliest warriors to the bay outside the city. We laid a mighty siege. We entered the human settlement. We fought past barricades and traps. Some of our constructs are still there, silent and dead, but when we thought we had achieved our greatest victory, he lowers his head, a powerful nano saved them. With his magics, he called upon the strength of the ancients and captured us. I thought my life was at an end, but he imprisoned me in slow time, trapped me in my body, used machines to paralyze my will. I still remember our glories, and I see the faded future in front of me, and I am powerless to act. The memories of our triumphs remain always at the forefront of my mind, and I must answer the mocking question of these people, or suffer. Oh. Tell me about the nano who trapped you here. Genocide raises his hands in defeat. He found old knowledge and made it his own. He created defenses that we could not penetrate. Most telling, most effective, the shield generators. He created 3 barriers around the heart of the city, and the last unmoored the city in time. When our constructs touched it, they flashed to stasis. We could not reach the city, but the city could reach us. You feel the ticklings of a memory as the genocide speaks of the shields. He continues to talk, oblivious. Let the memory come, of course. It's a patchy memory, coming in still images and moments. The relentless beats of the war machines as they approach the city, the reavers in the sky on their dirigibles.
I'm ready to learn something new.
You remember fighting them on the parapet. You remember fleeing into the safety of the city. You recall making your way to the shield generators, cutting off the Tabat supply lines, and then the memory fades. The genocide watches you silently. You seem very calm for someone who's been in prison for centuries. I have been defeated. I have nothing to fight for. My captor castrated me with the tool they made to dampen my natural urges. I can remember the actions, I can recall the glory, but I feel shame, regret. I am weakened, but not by my volition. Genocide squeezes his fists. What does it matter? Those who stood against me are all dead. I am victorious. I no longer fight with a blade. My weapon is time. Ah! Immortals. Things. He leans in closer. I do not die. I cannot be wounded. I am held like a beetle in sap. Why would I not be serene? He settles back. The underspine spoke of my destiny. The nano who defeated you was the changing god. He and his children are still alive. Yeah. His voice is flat and dead. Others have claimed this. I do not know if they say this to torment me. But if our enemy was a god, even if he was once but a man, then to stand against him is to spit in the face of the divine. The Tabat were a holy people. Humans do not believe it, but our rights were as sacred to us as they were profane to your kind. We accepted the will of the ineffable. Any who still live may yet find the mantle of godhood. To be divine is to be beyond the rule of mortal ethics. Those who would be gods must cast aside these concerns if they are to turn against the old teachings. Who are the Tabat? My people, his voice is forlorn. Great warriors, we owned this land. We served the Underspine, and it served us. We sought truth and victory. We ascended to Epiphany. We were pure, incorruptible, indivisible, even in disunity. We found strength in one another and proved it with bloody blades. But we fell, and the Underspine fell. And so, too late, we learned a new truth. But I carry the old ways as a seed within my heart. Tell me about this Underspine thing. Our slave, our god, our prize. It kept us holy, kept us pure and unchanging, anchored to a fixed point. The world turned around us, but we remained constant. When the world brought inconstancy, we fed it blood. He pauses. The Underspine was our soul, our confessor. We knew clean, hard rapture from it. We knew our path. It gave us the words of the ancient Tabat, and our path was rigid and unbending, absolute. If your path was unbending, it's no wonder you broke. Haha, because I'm a smartass. Ah, red tide. Yep. Wonderful. I do not bend now. I have been driven down, but I do not bend. I live, and those stood against me are dead. He turns away from you slightly. Do you have more questions, or do you release me? Of course I have more questions. What was the Underspine? Truly. He considers. You would not understand. It was a machine. It was a stone. It was our cavern. It was a city. It was the direct voice of our ancestors. It spoke in our heads, and in our ears, and in our hearts. We heard its voice in our crutches, in our daily instructions. Our God was true and strong and singular, not the fickle, inconstant thing of the modern day. Things of the modern day. What's the benefit of an absolute path? We had no questions about our duty, about our goals, only the particulars. We erased doubts in the purity of utter certainty. Questions raised are questions answered, or they are heresy. No need for self-agony. The necessity of introspection was transmuted into the optimization of our paths, into fashioning ourselves into the pinnacle of our achievement. Clear definition in life creates truth, not this pitiful shadow. So what happened to the Underspine? You can hear the frown in his voice. Sabotage, or failure. One of those under my command told me that it had whispered defeat into his ears, as if it had sickened, lost sight of the true path, given the question. The Underspine denied this. My soldier was cast out, and I suffered the barbarous doubt. It was later, years later, that the Underspine was broke. After our failure, and I have never been sure if the seeds for our defeat were planted in those days. He shuffles his feet. The Nano who captured me, who nailed me to time, he used the Mind Seer to ferret out the Underspine's location. I do not know if he ever found it in the world. He raped a genocide from me and mocked me with his sobriquet. I was not to blame. I will stand before the Underspine and swear my innocence. Let me ask about something else. You mentioned the shield generators. I told you their effect. They unmoored the city in time. They severed our supply lines. They left us vulnerable and defeated us. The Underspine strategy failed us. I began to doubt. He shifts slightly. The generators are unused, abandoned, their purpose forgotten. Though the people of the city still swear by our name, and our terrors are fresh in their nightmares despite the passage of centuries. They have forgotten the means of their salvation. This one, beside me, that thingy, no longer functions, but one of the others is buried in the ground not far from here, and has not yet failed. It powers the clock around which those ridiculous fools prance. Those ridiculous fools revere me, sir. I'm thinking that's it. I'll have the question.
Let's go.
Gonna go look at this thingy though, real quick. See what I garner. This machine towers above you like a dagger driven into the ground by a giant. It seems much older than the surrounding buildings. Your hands itch to touch the array of dark panels scattered around the machine, as though they have touched them before. I'm gonna do my best to remember. Oh no, I failed. Oh no. Examine the device. Your hand slips through the cobbled together components and greasy cables, the buttons worn by frequent use. It is a strange accomplishment, this machine, clumsy but deft, amateurish but masterful. Only a brilliant mind could have melded so many disparate parts into a functional device. Unfamiliar memories whisper to you. This device was used, though you don't know how, to generate a field that unmoored everything within it from time itself. Your fingers scrape through rough patch, lifting them. You see a circonate symbol etched into the side of it like a maker's mark. I would love to, but I need to rest if I want to do that. Sadly, I'm pretty sure I have very little of value to be able to actually rest, because I screwed up and when I bought and lost that item. Good day to you, visitor. Good day to you too, sir. You know, so I'm gonna see if maybe they sell something. Sell something. I'd like that. Oh, that's not even what I wanted to ask. I'd like to purchase more supplies for a smaller. Yeah. What if I sold? I mean, this heals 3 points of intellect, but this will allow me to sleep here, which will heal a lot more. All yours, sir, so that I may sleep here. I would like to sleep here, please. I'll pay. I wish I could just like fall asleep on the street. That'd be great. Alright, well I think I'm gonna use that as an opportunity. I will actually let's go.
Yes.
Go try to remember this thingy first before I go away.
I'm ready.
Got this. Please work. Yes. That was kind of risky. Success. You close your eyes to better concentrate, sinking into the currents of a memory that does not belong to you, or at least not to the body you are in. And you hear the thunderous heartbeat of the operational generator calling you from across centuries. You open cold, focused eyes, ignoring the screams, the drifting tangles of black smoke. Your attention is solely focused on the health of the machine's heartbeat. You reach into the hissing guts of the generator, adjusting and tuning, hoping. The heartbeat fades into the past. Your body's hand, rests on the rusty surface of the long-dead generator. Examine it again now since I've seen all that. Nothing new. Great!
Ready.
So, I don't know if that was really worth it. But, I'm gonna save again. Then I'm gonna talk to this dude. And, yeah, that'll be the beginning of my next part.